Hi there, and welcome to the Y Factor podcast.
Wait, sorry, what are we talking about?
The Y Factor podcast. It's where young elected politicians, or YEPs, share how they're making real changes across Europe.
Alright, I'm in. Let's hear what the future sounds like.
Welcome to the Yeps on the Ground, the podcast that brings young voices to the heart of Europe. Today we have here with us Theodora Koutentaki, a young elected politician from Greece. She works with the PP political group here at the European Committee of the Regions.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to join this conversation and share my perspective as a young elected politician from Greece.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure. So, Theodora, before we dive into our conversation, I would like to ask you two quick questions, just so we can get to know you a little bit better. So,
Sure.
the first one would be, what is your motto in life? Something that guides you inside and also outside of politics.
My motto in life is stand firm in your values, but also stay open to change. I believe leadership, especially in politics, must be grounded onto our core principles: freedom, individual responsibility, inclusion, sustainability, and so on. But also, we need to adapt, to stay flexible, and to listen to other voices. And actually, this balance helps me connect with people across generations, across backgrounds, and also push forward meaningful, forward looking policies.
Mhm. That is very interesting, actually. And when would you say was the first time that you actually felt European?
Oh. Well, for the first time, I actually felt European during my Erasmus exchange. It was my first chance to live, study, and connect with peers from across the continent. It opened my eyes to the richness of our cultural diversity and the common values that we share. And of course, that feeling deepened even more during my traineeship at the European Central Bank, where I had the opportunity to work with colleagues from all Europe and collaborating and contributing to discussions that shape the future of Europe was something that made me feel part of a collective effort to build a stronger and more united Europe.
Mhm. So you already started saying a few things about yourself, but moving on to our next section, could you tell us a bit more about your political role at the local level and how this connects with your work here at the European Committee of the Regions?
Sure. At the local level, I serve as a regional councillor at the region of Crete with responsibility for youth and youth entrepreneurship. My focus is on creating opportunities for young people, whether it's through lifelong learning or supporting startups, innovation ecosystem, or ensuring their voices are heard in regional decision making. At the European Committee of the Regions, I bring that experience into a broader context, uh, advocating for policies that empower young people across Europe, especially in less central regions like Crete, and supporting initiatives that bridge the gap between local action and European ambition. It's actually a two-way connection. Local insights from Crete inform my European work, and EU-level dialogue helps shape better, more forward-looking strategies for Crete. And truly, it is about making sure that the needs and ideas of young people are reflected in the EU's future direction.
Mhm. Actually, this is what I wanted to ask you next. And building on what you said, can you share with us a little bit more information about a project? It could be this one you mentioned about Crete, or an initiative that you are involved and you saw uh, how much the impact was meaningful for your community.
Mhm. One of the projects that speak closest to my heart is Youth Crete, an organization I founded a year and a half ago, and now brings together over 100 young members from across the island. We have organized seminars on youth employability and career development, environmental initiatives, digital skills workshops, and mental health awareness actions. This Friday, we are hosting an event called Be the Change You Want to See in the World, and we are bringing together 20 volunteer organizations to present their work. The goal is to inspire young people to get involved in civic life and volunteerism, and it's a grassroots effort that truly reflects European values like solidarity, participation, and social engagement.
So, Theodora, your journey combines legal expertise, financial insights, and a passion for sustainability. And from our research, of course, we noticed that you went from advising Greece's largest energy community pro bono to founding your own law firm. So, could you tell us how do you see the intersection of law, finance, and youth participation driving Europe's green transition?
Mhm. Well, the green transition isn't just about technologies, it's about systems, values, and of course, the people of Europe. From my perspective, the intersection of law, finance, and youth participation is where real, sustainable change begins. My academic and professional background in law and finance taught me that legal regulations and investment frameworks help a lot, can be pivotal in driving environmental innovation when they are designed with vision and purpose. But what really excites me and can really make a difference is connecting that knowledge to the energy and commitment I see in young people every day through Youth Crete. When we involve youth meaningfully, whether through environmental education, community projects, or climate focused entrepreneurship, we are not only building awareness, we are building capacity for long term impact. And Europe has certainly taken bold steps in that direction with the Green Deal, with the Fit for 55 package, and climate finance mechanisms. But to make these initiatives truly transformative, we must ensure young people are at the center, not just as beneficiaries, but as co designers. Of course, law provides the structure, finance, fuels the mission, and youth brings the drive and capacity to reimagine the future. We need all three working together if we want a just, inclusive, and truly green Europe.
Mhm. Yes, this is so interesting. And it seems that you've been involved in mobilizing youth around environmental initiatives as well, like tree planting and coastal cleanups. So, in your expertise, how can renewable energy initiatives be designed to include not just environmental goals, but also social ones, like bringing people together or giving young people a shared purpose, for example?
That's a great question because the green transition cannot succeed by focusing solely on environmental targets. It must be a comprehensive social transformation tool. From my experience, both through Youth Crete, but also as a member of the Environmental Committee at the region of Crete, I've seen firsthand how often local communities oppose to renewable energy projects. And I've come to believe that renewable energy initiatives need to be designed with clear, integrated social goals at their core. This means projects should go beyond installing wind turbines or solar panels. They should actively contribute to improving the livelihoods of local communities. For example, they can create real job opportunities For the locals, invest in social infrastructure like green public spaces, improve waste management in the local areas, and tree planting. And when communities see the tangible benefits that improve their daily lives, they are far more likely to embrace the renewable energy projects. So I believe that local communities must be actively engaged and educated to see the green transition not as an external imposition, but as an investment in their future. It's not just about fighting climate change, it's about improving daily life, creating jobs, lowering energy costs, and building a healthier environment for the next generation. So I believe that social progress is something that can be easily understood and felt, and it resonates more than distant climate targets. And that's why renewable energy initiatives must be designed with people at the center.
Exactly, and bring people closer to see the impactful results. Great. So, shifting the focus to the European stage, the green transition continues to be a key subject in political and policy debate, and discussions are intensifying on how to effectively develop and implement strategies that ensure a sustainable transition for all Europe. So, against this backdrop, what role do you believe local and regional authorities, of course, can play in achieving the EU's green objectives?
Local and regional authorities are absolutely essential to achieving the EU's green objectives because this transition doesn't happen in Brussels. It happens in our cities, in our villages, in our regions. As someone serving both at the Regional Council of Crete and the European Committee of the Regions, I see firsthand how regions are not just implementers of EU policies, they are co creators of solutions tailored to real people and real places. And local authorities understand the needs, the specific needs, the strengths, the concerns of their communities. They are in a unique position to understand, to build trust, to engage citizens, and to ensure that green transition is not only effective, but also fair. This is why it's so important that regions work together with the European Union and not just through national governments. Every region has its own identity, has its own resources and challenges. A one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work. We need flexible and region-specific solutions that direct EU mechanisms and funding streams that reflect this diversity. Also, regions are innovation hub, and for example, I want to give an example implemented here in Crete. It's called Crete Valley, and it is an innovation project that brings together research institutions, startups, and the public sectors working all together towards green and digital transformation. And this kind of regional leadership is what makes EU strategies tangible and impactful on the ground. So, if we truly want a green and just transition, we must empower local and regional authorities not only as implementers, but as architects of Europe's sustainable future.
Exactly. And this brings me to the next question, which is actually what measures you think the EU should take in order to create optimal conditions for local and regional authorities to fully leverage their potential and actively contribute to the Greek transition?
Well, to unlock the full potential of local and regional authorities in the green transition, the EU needs to shift from seeing regions as policy recipients to recognizing them as equal partners in shaping and delivering climate action. That starts with direct access to funding and decision making. First, we need more simplified and flexible EU funding mechanisms that local authorities can access without excessive bureaucracy. Too often, the complexity of application processes discourages smaller municipalities or community-led projects to apply. We also need long-term and stable funding, not just short project cycles, so regions can plan and invest strategically. Second, the EU should promote more direct engagement with regions and its institutions rather than working only through central governments. Every region, as I said earlier, has its own challenges and strengths. So we need tailored green transition strategies co-designed with regions that will be effective and fair and targeted to the specific needs of that region, being an island or a mountain region or an industrial area in transition. So third, we need to invest in local capacity building, supporting regional public servants, supporting the youth, civil society with the tools, the training and digital skills that are needed to lead complex green projects. And we must embed social goals into all EU green policies. Job creation, social cohesion and inclusion must go hand in hand with environmental progress. If the EU wants to succeed in the green transition, it must empower the places where actually the change happens at the local level. And that's where climate policy becomes real, and that's where Europe's future is built.
Thank you so much. That's very interesting, and hopefully we can see these some of these measures, if not all, being implemented. Theodora, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your valuable insights and experiences.
Thank you, Pari. It was really a pleasure.
It was a pleasure meeting you. And to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to learn more about Theodora's work, you'll find more information in the episode description. Stay tuned for more conversation with inspiring young Europeans, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram for updates. Make sure to catch us on our next episode to discover who will be our next guest and host.